Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, whenever it is that you're checking in with me. Today is Friday, the 3rd of July. I really appreciate you listening to these messages that are guided from Spirit. I'm an intuitive spirit guide. I'm an energy healer. I'm a yoga teacher. And I want to create a safe space here for us to get real and go deep into the recesses of the mind, into the heart space, and our internal universe that is so vast, just like the outer universe that sometimes doesn't feel as compliant as what it should with what we're wanting to manifest in this realm. So, how are you feeling today? And what messages have come through for you have been relating essentially to this dynamic that we are creating with others, and the need for there to be more honesty. And we've discussed the belief systems underlying truth, and that truth is so different for each one of us. And within all of these battles to sift through to our divine essence and our own divine truth, we kind of start feeling like we've got layers and layers of unanswered questions. And when we can start shedding the need to analyze everything and create that space with our light body, we can slowly begin to create a new dynamic for ourselves where we are the ones that are standing rather on top of the mountain, not under it. And we can visualize that ascension in the steady steps that we have to take to know what is right from wrong. It's not always the best decision, but being right for the highest good of the highest version of yourself is the most authentic, direct, and accurate way towards the truth. I found this for myself when I was immersed in practicing karma yoga. And unfortunately, when they use the word serving without expectation of reward, our minds always want to immediately go to the money, getting paid for something, because we have translated the real value, or we've sacrificed it, or we've just lost it, or we've just given it away. The true value of what we bring into a relationship that is in by no means man-made, even though we are the creators of it. But it has been conditioned, it has been simulated, it has been inherited. And if we could see the true purpose of someone coming into our lives to have a relationship with us from the truest essence of our being, or the highest version of ourselves, I guess that is where we come across the notion that there's potential. I don't know if it works the same between friends of the same sex, or if it only works between the attraction of loving another person. And I suppose that could be in a friendship way, or a platonic way, or a loving way, intimate way. There are so many ways of interpreting this love, this union, this connection, this drawing closer of soulmates, twin flames, if you believe that. But how does it feel to want to draw closer to somebody is when we can be honest, and creating that safe space by our honesty with one another. Therein is trust, and then that trust leads to putting more faith into that relationship, more effort. It has to become a service. You can say you love so many different things, but ultimately, do we really know what that highest form of love feels like if we can't give it to ourselves? If we've omitted all the self-love steps to keep us somewhat detached from a lifestyle or a place that we live in, our environments, if we continue in these habitual toxic cycles that keep us attached to a low vibrational frequency, which is this 3D reality, our matrix. What inner table, if you can visualize that space within the self, in the soul, to invite God, Jesus, Spirit, an ancestor, a dearly departed loved one, what table have you set within the self to honor that invitation? Okay, let's read today's reading. These acts do not bind me, O Arjuna, sitting like one indifferent, unattached to those acts. Under me as supervisor, nature produces the moving and the unmoving. Because of this, O Arjuna, the world revolves. When we are bound, when we are affected, the vital truth to be realized and always borne in mind is that nothing external really affects us, but that we affect ourselves. Hence it is that Krishna warns us that we are our own friend or own foe. No one can irritate us, we irritate ourselves. No one can insult us beyond expressing their opinions about us. We interpret their opinions as insults. This affection is caused by attachment, itself born of ignorant identification of the self with the body and mind. So we are bound. When we realize directly, not merely intellectually or intuitively, that whatever experience we may have is just our experience, and even so there are countless other experiences, that what we see is just one point of view, and even so there are countless points of view, then instantly we will be loving, humble, and enlightened. Yes, there are millions of points of view, just like there are an infinite amount of possibilities, choices, decisions. We realize we are just one small point of the cosmos, and we learn to look at everything in the universe as part of this totality. Here is a puzzle. I am your guest, and we both go to the sea for a swim. I am attacked by a shark. The shark is happy. I will yell with pain. You are worried. A few soft-hearted women weep. Others disdainfully turn their faces away. A photographer is busy taking the picture of the year. Now we know that God dwells in all. And how does he feel about the incident? He's unaffected, for the simple reason that he does not identify himself with any one of the actors in this drama. It does not mean that he is cruelly indifferent to the pains and sufferings of man. He's totally free from ignorance and false identification, and so is free from these pains and sufferings. Man too, by identifying himself with God, can thus free himself. This identification is not a mental activity, but the identification of the reality, the homogeneity or unity in this universe, which is not obvious after the cessation of mental activity. That is the goal of yoga, union. I've written something about suffering here today. I just want to see what came through this morning, because when we look at the graph that is presented about the various ways that demonic influences can overcome someone, everything from the self-harming, oppression, depression, to how we welcome these entities in through excessive use of, you know what, through our technology, entertainment, music, whatever. So there are 9 different descriptions on this graph. And then you go and look at the psychology graphs. You go and look at the different disorders from schizophrenia right through, and paranoia, bipolar. They've even got PTSD on there, which I feel if it comes directly through an inflicted trauma, there must be various levels there too. So, you know, you can look at it with some objectivity for sure, but when we see how we've welcomed these disorders into our reality, we have started to spend so much time analyzing ourselves that we spend very little time doing what God really intended for us to be doing. And that is to stop worrying about ourselves so much. Put that energy outwards into something really positive. The amount of isolation, hermiting, introspection has become debilitating for a lot of people. And our social structures are disintegrating, and we are failing to really unite in this true, authentic vibration of love that is needed to rebalance our grids, the ley lines, and the beautiful silver and gold threads that are binding all of us, our soul connections. Imagine that. Perhaps a long, long time ago, the earth could feel that energy, and it worked so well to just keep rejuvenating. We want to create that ripple effect on platforms with communities like this that are ready to share, ready to be a little bit vulnerable, to open your heart and be honest with the self, and to see what God has in store for you. I can attest to the magic and the miracles that have come into my life since I started practicing karma yoga, or changing attitudes and working with energy in my body, in my light body. I can attest to the synchronicities, the signs and the messages, all those little blessings that came through in such either synchronous ways or random ways, just sometimes great surprises, good or bad. But when we make space for the mystery, for the unknown, that is a very blissful place to be. So I wish for you that you can sit in stillness with yourself, ground the whole body into the earth, allow your elbows to become heavy and your knees. Relax the shoulder, the neck, and allow your spine to just extend itself between the vertebrae. Imagine this rope on the back of the head slowly being lifted up, and allow your chin to tilt slightly downwards, and rest your eyelids. And allow yourself to receive the highest form of love. See yourself as the highest version of yourself. Listen to what that version of yourself has to say. The most truest, honest, light version of yourself. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate the quiet moments that I can have with you in reflection, as well as the insight, knowledge, and teachings that come through from the book, The Song of God. There's something in each of these days for each one of you. It doesn't matter how you skip and change these readings. Please give me a thumbs up. If I get to increase my views, we get to increase the channel, inviting so many more people to be able to benefit from this divine frequency. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Sending you lots of peace, love, and light. God bless.